All right, let's dive into one of the biggest, most exciting breakthroughs in modern biology, organoids. Now, these aren't just some random cells in a dish. We're talking about miniature, living models of actual human organs, grown right there in a lab. It's incredible stuff.
Just think about this for a second. What if, before you ever took a new drug, doctors could test it on a tiny version of your own liver or your own lung, completely outside your body? It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But that is the incredible promise of organoid technology.
Okay, so how on earth do you get from just a few cells to a whole mini organ? Let's break down what these amazing little structures really are.
Now, the official scientific definition can sound, a little dense, but the core idea is just so powerful. An organoid is basically a simplified 3D cluster of cells that starts from stem cells and then mimics the basic structure and function of a real organ. It's literally like watching a biological blueprint come to life in a petri dish. So what makes an organoid an organoid? Well, it really comes down to three key things. First, they grow in 3 dimensions, just like real tissue, not just as a flat layer of cells. Second, and this is the magic part, they self-organize. The stem cells just know what to do. They follow their own genetic instructions to build these complex structures. And third, they've got multiple specialized cell types all working together, just like they would in a full-sized organ.
And you know what's wild? This field has just exploded in such a short amount of time. The very first true organoid system for the intestine was only created back in 2009. And now, just over a decade later, we can grow models for the brain, lungs, kidneys, you name it. It's a huge testament to how powerful this idea really is.
So how do scientists actually cook up these mini organs? While the science behind it is obviously super advanced, the basic recipe is, well, surprisingly elegant. Let's take a look at the key ingredients. It all starts with the main ingredient, stem cells. And scientists can use a couple of different flavors. They can use adult stem cells, which are taken from a specific tissue, and those are fantastic for modeling that same tissue. Or they can use pluripotent stem cells. Pluripotent is just a fancy way of saying they can become any type of cell in the entire body, which, as you can imagine, makes them incredibly versatile for building more complex organ models like the brain. The whole process is kind of like a 3-step recipe. First, you get your stem cells. Think of those as the seeds. Then you place them in a 3D scaffold, which is like the soil that gives them structure to grow. And finally, you add this special cocktail of growth factors. That's the fertilizer that tells the cells what to become, whether it's a mini liver or a mini kidney.
All right, growing mini organs in a dish is super cool, but so what? Why does this actually matter? Well, this is where the technology goes from being a cool science experiment to a truly revolutionary tool for medicine. One of the most powerful uses is in cancer treatment, seriously. Scientists can take a tiny piece of a patient's tumor, grow it as an organoid in the lab, and then test dozens of different chemotherapy drugs on it. This means they can figure out which drug will actually work for that specific person's cancer before ever giving them a single dose. We're talking about a massive shift towards truly personalized medicine. Organoids also give us this incredible window into genetic diseases. Take a condition like cystic fibrosis. Researchers can take cells from a patient, grow many long organoids, and then watch exactly how the disease affects those cells. This helps them understand the disease on a whole new level and test new drugs to fix the problem right at the source. It could totally speed up the search for cures. And think about this, drug safety. Before a brand new drug ever goes to human trials, we can now test it on human liver organoids. These tiny mini livers can actually predict if a drug might be toxic to humans, potentially saving a lot of time, money, and most importantly, preventing harmful side effects down the line. And in the fight against infectious diseases, organoids are an absolutely critical tool. I mean, during the COVID-19 pandemic, lung organoids were used to study precisely how the SARS-CoV-2 virus infects our airway cells. This let scientists screen for effective antiviral drugs at a speed that was just unimaginable before. And that's really the beauty of it, right? This versatility. We now have specific organoid models for specific problems. Lung organoids for respiratory viruses, brain organoids for developmental disorders, and those tumor organoids we talked about for personalized cancer therapy. It's becoming a really targeted approach to tackling human disease. Now, as incredible as all this sounds, organoids aren't perfect replicas of human organs, at least not yet. So let's be real about the current challenges and then look at the exciting solutions that are just on the horizon.
So, what are the big hurdles scientists are trying to jump over right now? Well, it's mostly about complexity and scale. For starters, most organoids don't have their own blood supply, so they can't grow very large. They're also missing key players like integrated immune or nervous systems, and they often end up resembling fetal tissue more than fully mature adult tissue. These are the big puzzles they're working to solve.
But here's the cool part. For every single one of those challenges, there are brilliant people working on some amazing solutions. We've got organ-on-a-chip technology that adds artificial blood vessels. There are assembloids, where scientists combine different organoids to see how they talk to each other. And we're seeing automation and OI come in to help grow and analyze thousands of these things at once, which is just massively accelerating the pace of discovery.
And all this work, it brings us to the ultimate goal here. It isn't just about making cool mini organs. It's about modeling human biology in all its messy complexity with an accuracy that we have just never, ever had before.
So I want to leave you with this to chew on. As this technology keeps getting better and better, what does a future where each one of us has a personalized organoid avatar really look like? An avatar for testing medicines, for predicting disease. The possibilities are, well, they're truly extraordinary.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos on organoid and biology.